Welcome back to Goodbye Volcano High. I'm dear darling, and we only have so much time of this world together. Let's make the most of it. Where we will, I don't know if in this episode or in this session, we'll be finishing off Reed's, whatchamacallit, like, path, like route, whatever. I also don't remember how much of this I played on the previous episode, so apologies if I forgot. And I don't know if I also brought this up, but I have decided that after I do this Reed's one and we see Sage's campfire scene, that we will that will be the actual end of Goodbye Volcano High. I think it's enough to see the main trio's like story and that sort of thing, and it's not because I don't like playing through the game, and like I do like the game, but it's just trying to see, like, having to skip through so much dialogue just to see one extra scene is like not enough. If there were save states, I would very happily go through and do like all of the different endings, but alas, it has ended up being a little more tedious than I expected. But I will continue, like, I know we're going to be skipping out like so early the song. Actually, wait, I don't even know if we play this one. I can't remember, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, I mean, honestly, it's been a good time with Goodbye Volcano High, I know there's not certainly a lot of controversy around it. And okay, well, we'll continue this discussion, I suppose, after the song is over. And welcome back. Yeah, I mean, I've had a genuinely fun time, I think, with Goodbye Volcano High. I've had an Animal Crossing episode about where I discuss it more and deeply, but the TLDR is like, it's a good time. It's not for everybody. I would not recommend it to a lot of my friends, I think. But some friends I definitely would recommend it to, because I think they would enjoy it. It's just kind of like dependent on who you are, I suppose, and what you're looking for in a game. But I think it's fun enough. I think we're also immediately going into another song, which is interesting. I don't know if there's actually any dialogue options for if you play a song really badly, but I guess we'll find out. Alright, we're back. So it doesn't seem like there's any custom dialogue for if you play atrociously, which is amusing, because I didn't hit a single note, I think, during that entire thing, intentionally, of course, because I already played them almost perfectly. I was just kind of curious to what happens. So we don't actually have to do any other choices, I think, at this point. The only ones which matter, I think, are in the next episode, when we're doing Reed's Dungeons and, LNL session, and I guess it would be nice here not to be too aggravating, because I don't know if negative points exist. I don't know if the guide actually mentions it. It probably does. Everything okay? So let's be nice here, because Reed's here. We want Reed to think of us nicely. What else is there? And then we have a breakout. But what about us? What about us? But what about us? What about us? Tattoo, anyone?
Then why are you quitting the band?
I loved that song so much when I was younger. What about us? What's the other thing? Everything she said, running through my head, running through my head, running through my head. I hope I brought some of you back to the... I don't even know when that song came out. Early 2000s, I guess? I actually don't know. Maybe some of you are too young to even know, but... I always have your back. Not that this choice matters, but still. And Reed is looking sad. Don't worry, buddy. We cool. We'll sort it out by the end. Yeah. So, Goodbye Volcano High coming to an end. It was a fun ride. Is basically my sort of TLDR. I know some people have asked me about it in comments as well, which I haven't responded to because I was considering it, I suppose, for a little bit. Is that the Snoot game, which is sort of like a parody that spinned off from this game, I think. People ask me, am I going to play that game? I think the answer is nah. I think this is enough of this like universe as well. As I understand it, it's like the exact same characters and that sort of thing. And it's all got very contentious origins in the first place. And I'm not here to invite that right now. I'm just here to play games, to be perfectly honest. And there's other games that I want to play, following on from this. So, yeah, I think that's enough for the Goodbye Volcano High universe, in my opinion, for now. I'm sure other people have played the routes, the other routes out there, the other games, or etc, etc, etc. So, check them out, I suppose, because you won't find it here. I don't know. Life is long. Who knows what's going to happen in life? It's the longest and shortest thing you ever do. That's also definitively not true. I guess the longest thing you do is fair, but we're going to do some speedrun strategies here where I can't deal with this. Sorry, Naomi.
I don't think I can.
We're not going to pursue a romantic relationship with Naomi because that saves us on having to have a date scene with her, I think, which helps dialogue option wise. Not dialogue option wise, but fewer scenes is basically something which we can do faster. But yeah, I don't really know what Reed's stuff is going to be like. It's interesting that I never chose Reed or Sage's options. Fascinating, isn't it? But yeah, please. I like the scene a lot.
Cool. I parked over there.
You know, I don't know. Maybe NASA's my favorite character, to be perfectly honest. He's just cool. You know, I respect someone who has a good head on his shoulders. Something like that. You know. And from classic. Well, like how tiny the pavement is, or sidewalk. I was going to use sidewalk because I was going to use an American term, but I was like, no. Come on. I know. Use my British terms. Let's be consistent with the lexicon I speak with. I don't really know what I was going with this, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, we're sort of just like coasting until the end, to be perfectly honest. Should we turn this into Animal Crossing episode now? I feel like we got the preamble of what's going on with Goodbye Volcano High. Is it ending? Is it not ending? 'Cause I feel like I kept going back and forth, basically being like, oh, let's do all the story paths. And then I was like, okay, let's stop after Trish's one. And then now I'm doing Reed's, and it's like, okay, this is the definitive answer. It was stopping after Reed's one. It would have been nice, I think, to do Rose's as well, or something, but alas for Yorick, I only knew him well, Horatio. That has not been the case at this time. So, instead we are just doing Reeds. You might be like, oh, what's whatchamacallit? What's a series which is going to be following on from Goodbye Volcano High? It's a series I've actually, like, I don't know too much about. I'm going to keep it vague, I know, just because I don't even think this is going to be the last episode. There's probably going to be one more episode after this, is my guess. So we're going to keep it vague about what's going on, but, you know, it's like a detective-esque story game, I think. It has very, very strikingly unique character designs, which is one of the reasons I even know about it in the first place, is I saw, like, the designs and went like, whoa, that's cool. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it. The thumbnail art, and like, I've actually just got it here on my other monitor, because I was actually not drawing it this morning. I should have been drawing it this morning, but I wasn't, because I was being a bit lazy. Let's be perfectly realistic with myself. Does that mean you do that if we say, let's start a relationship? No, because we can't actually accept a relationship until the campfire scene, right? Yeah, but I don't know, what else has been going on in my life? You can probably like date when I record this video based off what I say in Animal Crossing, which is crazy if anyone will ever do some cross-reference things. I will say, the Animal Crossing episodes are like popping off, to be perfectly honest. I think that's probably a mix of, I don't know, the algorithm is starting to favour it a little bit more. And by popping off, I don't mean like thousands of views, let's be real. Like, who's going to check out day 1400 of Animal Crossing? I'm still amazed whenever new people come in to the Animal Crossing series at that point. But I don't know, they're getting more popular. And I also think it's because currently, the 3 series I have going on right now, I've all 3 of them have been like reasonably long-running ones at the moment. So there's less, you know, if you don't know, I suppose in the YouTube Let's Plays behind the scenes sort of things, the reason that nowadays people don't like name the parts of the YouTube videos or the Let's Plays that they're on is because most people don't want to join in at episode 26 or something. Episode 1 always gets the most views, and then like the later ones will sort of be like whatever. Which is why I think with sort of the flavour of a month, the flavour of the meta, is to leave out what part it's on. Maybe put it in the description if you are so inclined, but you know, you just, you know, record one sort of mega video, I guess, and put it all together.
I'm pretty sure LNL is dead as hard enough to get the group together.
But yeah, I don't know, it's just strange that the Animal Crossing videos are getting so many views. The Goodbye Volcano High ones also sometimes randomly get a lot of views, which I found very strange because the most recent episodes are literally me just saying nothing. It's like, it's not even about Goodbye Volcano High anymore, to be perfectly fair. It's sort of there into the background, and we check in every like 2 hours being like, oh yeah, we got to see this new scene. Which I find kind of amusing at the same time. It's sort of like a, I guess if anything, maybe it's a level of comfortability, which the Animal Crossing episodes also bring, where it's like, oh, you know, the video game says something going on in the background. It's the same time as like hanging out with your friends while you put the TV on or something. You're mainly there to chat and talk with your friends and
thought we'd at least
gossip or
another
like
time.
discuss things, etc., etc. And then sometimes you like check in whatever's going on TV. You'd be like, "Oh, Joey Tribbiani, you crazy, you absolute scoundrel. He's up to his antics once again." And Friends, etc., etc. I don't know about you, but Friends always seems to be the go-to one, at least for me personally. Of like, let's put it on the background and just sort of like it can be there. And it's not really because I'm like that big a fan of Friends. You know, I'm not even that like crazy big fan of sitcoms in general, to be perfectly honest. But it's more like whenever I would like hang out with friends, or not friends, sorry, family friends, I should say. They are my friends, but like there's a delineation between family friends and I suppose school friends. Through the relationship, I suppose, of how I know them. It would always be at like holidays times, Christmas times, etc., etc. And then for some reason, it would always be Friends that we'd put on in the background while we just like sit there chatting or whatever. So I don't know. I've actually probably seen like a surprisingly large amount of Friends episodes, despite the fact I'm not entirely sure what's going on. Like I couldn't really tell you much about the characters, I think.
Sounds like you fucked up. Your friends
LJ
all
is
have
probably
different
my
names.
favourite side character. You know, Stella was my favourite. Okay, so favourite main character? NASA, I think. But Stella is close. Stella just doesn't get enough time to shine, to be perfectly honest. But her tarot card scenes are very
Where are you
fun.
gonna go from here?
And my favourite side character has got to be LJ.
I don't know. Trish did say I could go solo.
Least favourite character? I don't know, you know. I don't really have a least favourite character that I can think of off the top of my
Hold
head.
up and look around you for a second.
Like, I don't even hate Swamp Babies. I don't even understand why we hate Swamp Babies so much, to be perfectly
Skills
honest.
and the making of something
We're just a bit
great.
lippy, but no, that's all the impression I got. Yeah, again, this is an entire video game about teen drama, and I'm not a
It's
teen
way more
anymore.
than making it big on
I'm a
your
young
own.
adult, despite not feeling like one, I suppose. Whoa, and then everyone goes like, so true, bestie, mood,
Listen, if I
mood, for
was in
real,
this
for
business
real.
for profit alone, I'd
Sorry,
sign
I'm
you as
like-
a solo act and ship
if
you
you let
out
me
on
just
Apocalypse
talk,
tour yesterday.
Like in a stream of consciousness sort of way, it sort of goes a little bit insane. Or not even, it's not even insane, it's not even weird, it's just like, I guess weird by my standards, so it feels a bit weird.
Nothing's worth doing till the end of all things if you don't have
Yeah,
people to
I
share.
feel like I remember
When it
having
comes down
a
to
similar
it,
sort of dialogue about this
I'd rather have
in
people I love with
Hollow
me.
Knight. Actually, no, Hollow Knight's one I think was about generational
Files,
divide or
money,
something,
whatever
where,
else comes with
you know,
me.
the age I am, I'm basically like
Too, Fang.
the oldest
I don't know if it's
Generation
possible
Z,
anymore.
Generation Z, Gen Z, Zoomer
I think I ruined
person.
everything.
You know, it's like, if you don't know, I'm born in the year 1997, which is basically the cutoff point that most people use for Gen Z. And you might be like, oh, do you feel more like a millennial or Gen Z? You know, some parts of a bit of both. To be perfectly honest, I do like Gen Z slang a lot more. Like, I love saying "so true," for real, that sort of thing. I don't say like "on God" or "no cap." What other sort of like Riz? Riz has not quite entered my lexicon yet, but I'm sure it will ironically. And then it's always a step. So you start using something ironically, and then you start using it like actually unironically as it becomes cemented as a part, the sort of thing you say. I don't know. I don't really use all that much slang, to be perfectly honest, in my day-to-day sort of life, unless it's like ironic or if I'm referring to the specific concept conveyed by the slang, I think. I'm trying to think what my most used slang is. Probably for real. Or, no, I guess so true counts as slang. It's probably so true. Okay, so we're into final LNL session. The person who made this guide,
I'll tell
who
you what,
I refer
you
every
are
time,
so
credit
lucky
to
I already had an
Hadradivus.
extra character sheet for him.
Whatever.
Yeah.
says that this one is on
Use
optimize.
some fun.
And, you know, at some point they got a point for read. We don't know necessarily which one was a point for read. So we're just going to try and follow exactly what they choose. But this one is a lot more RNG based.
All right, Almighty DM, take us away.
But presumably they wouldn't let in an impossible... a way to
After
Ew.
impossibly get Reed's
part
backstory via choices or something.
in the
I don't really know, to be honest.
we you all and then
Um,
a sudden clap of thunder erupts from the vortex and sends the
Erupts.
vagrant crashing to the ground at its feet.
are we okay? So that's the first thing we need to do. Then we're ready. Then let's beat his ass is the next
We're
one.
ready, right?
We're ready. Be confident. Be self-assured. Be who you wanna be,
All right.
Barbie
As you
girl.
get closer, you begin to make out a form at the center. of
What's your
the
favourite
scene.
song from a Barbie movie?
A massive figure, their body glistening.
Honestly, I don't remember all that many apart from Dance the Night Away, which is very catchy. Let's dance the night away. Something like that, right? Dun 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 dun. Natural 20? Natural 1? 13. I feel like I roll 7 and 13 very frequently
The bu-
throughout the series. I've yet to roll a 20 or 1. Slice slash. 20, 20, 20 or 1. 20, 20, 20 or 1. 5.
You're up. Hell, my. You,
I was trying to think of like a fun fact to say about number 5. You would have thought as a mathematician I would have these at hand, but I don't know. But I don't know, to be honest.
you read.
I want to end this. Yeah, I don't really have any fun facts about numbers and that sort of thing.
Comes in flashes, not whole picture.
They're just numbers, you know.
Almost like you're watching.
What can I say about 5? It's a prime number.
Like all this happened.
Third smallest prime number.
And
What's the largest prime number you know? I don't know what largest prime number I know is, to be honest.
nothing.
I could probably guess one, but what's the largest number I was like,
Everyone,
I
we have
definitively
a special
know is a
guest
prime number?
joining us tonight.
It is I.
I think 103 is a prime number, isn't it?
up! Oh, Sarah's gonna be so jealous!
Or is it 101? One of the two,
Yes, exactly
glad
the
you made
reaction
it.
I wanted.
is a definitive prime number, but I always forget which one it is. I think 101 is divisible by something, but it's divisible by something weird, like 17 or something, right? Doesn't make sense. Let's get 17 by 3. That's 51. Of course we are. I'm not going to sit here and try and work out. Maybe 101 is a prime number. Have I had a recent discovery of like the largest prime number again yet? Because I remember at one point, like I think it was back in secondary school, I remember reading an article where I was like, whoa, they discovered a new really large prime number. It was one of like the Mersenne primes or something, which are always of a form 2 to the power of n minus 1. I don't remember what it was, to be perfectly honest. And you might be like, on a practical sense, what is the use of this really large prime number? Actually, to be fair, knowing the largest prime number is not actually that useful. But prime numbers in general, large prime numbers in general, are very useful. They kind of, here's the educational side, which is, you know, being summarized, or I'm looking over the important details of it, because mainly I don't remember all of them off the top of my head. And maybe you're not here for that. But prime numbers are basically sort of make up the backbone of like cryptography. We should go in together. Cryptography in general, or like security, like cyber security. The whole reason that you can send like a message to someone, to a friend, and you know that only they have received it is because of the concept of prime numbers in the first place. Or basically the concept that multiplying 2 really large prime numbers together gives you a really large prime number, unsurprisingly. But reverse engineering what 2 really large prime numbers you had to multiply together to get that really large prime number is incredibly, incredibly difficult. Is basically the sort of summary of it. So actually, the largest prime number is not all too useful, because the largest prime number, what it does is, it
Okay.
if you were, I don't know, if you imagine you're a hacker, you're trying to intercept something, and you break down what's happening cryptographically, and you're like, oh, okay, you've ever used prime numbers here as a security or whatever. If you receive a number that large, you're going to be like, okay, they've clearly used the largest prime number which we know of, which is, you know, not particularly conducive, I think, to being something secure. It's actually the thing where it's so large that it's not secure because everyone knows about it. It's too infamous and notorious. But I suppose if we have multiple prime numbers all within that same sort of range, then it becomes much more of a feasible thing to use. And you might be like, how do prime numbers work in this case, I suppose? What I really like is this demonstration with, I can't remember when I had it. I think it was on like a university taster course or something, where basically it was this concept of like, it was like you're in groups of 3, and it's like person A needs to pass a message to person B, but person C can intercept it. It has to go through person C's hands. How can you guarantee that person A can pass on the message to person B without person C reading it? And what they do is they give you like a box and a lock. And they're like, how do you do it? Like, everyone gets a lock or something, and then everyone's just like, oh, I'll put my message in the box and I'll lock it and I'll give it to B. And it's like, how does B open it? Because B doesn't have key A. If you put lock A on it, person B, you need to give the key somehow to person B. And it's like, okay, I'll give it to them physically. But you got to remember, we're in the digital world, we can't just physically give the key over to person B. So what do you do?
Or even know you existed.
And the solution, when I found out about it, like when I heard about it, like I didn't solve it actually, it was someone else in my group solved it, because he was like actually a computer science, he already knew the solution. I was like, whoa, that's actually so clever. But what you do is person A writes a message, puts it in the box, locks it with lock A, gives it to person C, who can't open it because they don't have a key to lock A, who gives it to person B. Person B comes along, locks it with their lock B, and gives it back to C, who still can't open it because they can't open lock A and lock B, and then gives it back to A. Person A takes off their lock using their key A, gives it back to person C, who still can't open it because it's locked with lock B, and then they give it to lock B, who can now open it with their key B, to see what's going on inside. I was like, that's so clever. So it's a similar sort of thing with prime numbers, where basically the keys are basically the prime numbers you multiply your message with to encrypt it. You encrypt it on your side, give it to them, they encrypt it, they give it back, you decrypt it, and then they decrypt it. Something like that. Well, it probably doesn't work quite like that in practicality, because I'm sure in reality they have much more different safety features or things as well to prevent that from happening. But that's a sort of basic cryptography lesson, which I remember from university too, which I give up on to you now. Anyway. Sorry, went on a huge tangent there. But I'm going to round this episode off here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Goodbye Volcano High. I've been dear darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope you see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.